Hey, Coach. Coach Rolovich told us that the team took the loss to Oregon pretty tough, and that first meeting the morning after, it took them a little bit to bounce back. How do you think the defensive unit has done in terms of getting that energy back on the field this week?
Well, I thought we had one of our best practices yesterday. I thought they bounced back really well. It's about dictating your mindset. I'm glad there was disappointment. I'm glad they weren't happy and everyone's singing kumbaya because we lost the game. Though that means you're a competitor. And that's the type of people that we want in this program, and that's what we want in our unit. So it was good to see them bounce back. I thought we had good energy the last couple of days, good focus, a completely different mindset. You're attacking a spread offense to a very multiple pro style offense in Stanford. So the week of prep so far has been good. And I think the guys that's the nice part about football, right? 7 days later, you get another opportunity. So they're excited to get back out there.
And against Oregon, Aiden Hector has been a big talking point, obviously, with the three takeaways. Watching film against Oregon, what do you think he did well to sort of be in the right place at the right time? And what does he need to focus on improving after watching that film as well?
Well, I think the biggest thing everyone probably doesn't know is that, you're talking about a guy that just showed up here in September. So you're talking about a guy that practiced for 3 weeks before he played in the first game. It's pretty impressive what that young man has done. And not everyone sees the work behind the scenes. And that's exciting for me as a coach to see someone that wants to put in the extra time, a guy that's willing to come to Coach Banker's office on his own time and say, Coach, can you help me? And then to have that same kid see the results in the game, that's exciting, right? That's a big thing. That's why we're in this thing, right? To see guys like that work and then obviously put in the time and then see the results. So he's taking it one day at a time. A couple of those he flopped on, be in the right place, right time, but it's exciting to see him make plays. But you just know the speed of the game is fast, things that we haven't practiced as fast. But when he's a sponge and he keeps soaking up, every time he's out there, he's getting better and better, right? He's asking better and better questions, understanding what we want him to do, and just making sure he's focused on his 1/11th and his part of the defense. So just happy for what he's done so far, and there's still so far to go. But he's getting better daily, and it starts on that practice field.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right, Cody from the Daily Evergreen. Go ahead, Cody.
Hey, Coach. Obviously, going up against Stanford, they have a very talented quarterback in Davis Mills. What have you kind of seen from him, being able to watch that film, and what he does well, and how you expect him to kind of attack the defense?
Well, he's very poised. You can say he sits in the pocket really well. They protect him, but he doesn't get rattled pretty easily. Let's watch the first. After last game, he didn't play in the first one, but you can just see a guy that's had reps, throws to spots. He can hit the field side, come back. He can take you over the top. He's just mobile enough to make things happen with his feet. So he's a pretty dangerous player, and he has some experience there. So we got to contain him, right? I don't never think you can shut him down. We got to make sure we're keeping the ball in front of us. That's been an emphasis and something that we need to get better at. But his talents, you can see it. And they got a good core of receivers, and they're completely different. They're big body receivers, right? So they can go up and to get the ball. He's great at placement, especially in the red zone on places he wants to go. So he knows the offense. He knows the reads. We got to kind of throw some different curveballs at him a little bit this week just to kind of keep him off balance.
And obviously, a big part of that will be the pass rush. We saw, freshman Moon Ashby step up last week. Now Justin Lorenz is listed as the backup with Will Rogers' department. So what are you expecting to see from, two young guys having to step up?
It's a big role. I mean, let's be honest. Those are, you're stepping in as a freshman and you're getting those type of reps. So the biggest thing I expect from them is 100% effort. Okay, we can live with that. Okay, I'll live with the mistakes. I'll live with the freshman mistakes. But if guys are playing hard, they're playing fast, they're doing 100 miles an hour, we'll correct that, and we can coach that every time. Okay, so that's my message to those guys: is go let it all hang out. Don't play tentative. Don't hesitate. You're here for a reason, and you're continually getting better. So, it's not about what they can or can't do, but we just want to put them in situations to be successful. It's not going to be a tempo game, right? So we got to pick and choose our spots and personnels that fits their talents the best. I want them to go out there and play with effort and execute the best they can and do their 1/11th of what we're asking them to do.
And last one for me, the Stanford rushing offense. They've kind of had two very different performances. You know, they ran very well against Oregon, seemed to struggle against Colorado. What are you expecting to see from them in this game in terms of running the ball? And, you know, with a kind of a big power running style, are there any changes that you're expecting to make to kind of combat that?
Well, I think they definitely want to establish the run. I think, to the point of Colorado, they got behind, so they had to turn it into like a 2-minute offense. So I still think it's what they want to do, right? They're going to come and run downhill at us. It's just hard to replicate. We know we have no tight ends on the offense. We got linebackers trying to replicate all their big bodies and the physicality, which is hard to do. So sometimes it takes a series or two for our guys to say, hey, this isn't, our third linebacker trying to block me anymore, right? So it's just a physical mentality, but we have to establish ourselves and we have to stop the run early, right? If we can get them behind the chains, turn them one-dimensional, I think that's when you got an opportunity, to attack a little bit more. So I know what our offense is going to do. They're going to keep rolling, so we got to do our part to keep this thing moving. But to be physical at the point of attack and how our D tackles and our interior down 4 play, that'll be the success that we have on Saturday.
Thank you.
Yep.
Joe McHale from Spokane TV. Go ahead, Joe.
Hey, Coach, I just wanted to ask you about the final 2 plays of the first half against Oregon. 12 seconds left. They're able to put up, a huge play through the air, then score, make it a double-digit lead down to a single-digit lead going into the half. Just what did you learn about that moment, about that play?
Critical error on my part. I put a kid in a situation, George, that he shouldn't have been in. And we got to be better. And that's my job, number one, and that's my responsibility, right? In charge of the defense. So, we just didn't execute in the moment. There wasn't anything one specific. It wasn't just one thing, but I take full responsibility for it. And I got to put our guys in better situation to have success there. With 18 seconds left in the half, there's no excuse for it. So I look myself in the mirror every day. I grade myself just as much as I grade the players. And, there's no excuse for letting that happen right before the end of the half.
So it was more of a decision rather than you think it was the guys falling asleep with just 12 seconds left?
Nope, it's on me. It was coaching.
Gotcha. And then last one for me, Coach, Brennan Jackson, he was injured most of last year. And he has a big game for you guys, 7 tackles. He was involved on a sack. What did you just see out of him that worked?
Well, you see that on Saturday. And once again, I see the behind the scenes. I see a guy that every day busts his tail. Okay. And every day tries to do the right thing. Every day brings energy. Every day is running to the ball. I mean, he's one of those kids in practice. We got to go, whoa, pull back. And that's to the point where we want everyone to be at. He just set such a great example. So when you prepare that way, when you act that way, when you practice that way, you're going to have those type of results on Saturday. He's very talented. He's got the right mindset, and his ceiling is still growing, right? His best is still to come. So I'm just excited for what he has done. I'm excited for how he's earned it, right? And I'm just excited for the results that he's having, both as an individual and how that affects us as a team. So for BJ, there's nothing but great things ahead in his future.
Thank you, Coach.
You bet.